sun, my heart's aligned. Peaceful and strong, this life is mine. Unstoppable steps, I move with grace. Accomplished and calm, I claim my space. The mirror reflects the truth I see. Slim and healthy, I'm proud to be. With youthful strength, I freely roam. This vibrant body feels like home. I rise on the hard path where dreams unfold. A life of freedom, a story bold. From all I create to the love I give, I rise, I shine, this is how I live. My home's a haven, calm and bright, with gardens blooming in soft sunlight. A deck to gather, a pool to play, a sanctuary space to end my day. My work inspires, it lights the way, empowering women to seize their day. Through retreats, my voice in all I've planned, I help them rise and take their stand. I rise on the hard path where dreams unfold. A life of freedom, a story bold. From all I create to the love I give, I rise, I shine, this is how I live. Across valleys, shores, and Europe's streets, adventure calls where dreams and purpose meet. With loved ones near or solo flight, every journey feels just right. Cars that gleam, my clothes just flow. An effortless life wherever I go. My business thrives, I lead with care. A world of abundance is waiting there. I rise on the hard path where dreams unfold. A life of freedom, a story bold. From all I create to the love I give, I rise, I shine, this is how I live. With family's joy and laughter near, I walk this path with love and cheer. I'm balanced, warm and strong and true. I shine with purpose in all I do. This is my moment, my heart's design. I rise and thrive, the world is mine. On the hard path where dreams take flight, I shine my brightest, my guiding light.
Hi, and welcome to the April session of the Rise and Thrive series. Now, I have done these series once every month, so this is the fourth one of them. This one is lightening the load, what no one else can see. So this session is about awareness, embodiment, releasing, and just finding that one practical shift that can help you. So this is about, so tonight is really for the woman who is holding this all together and on the outside, but the inside she's carrying all of those mental tabs open for everyone. And it does feel like, if you can imagine the browser on your computer and you've got 47 tabs open at once and you're trying to find something, you're trying to function, that's what it's like. And if you also think of a duck on the water, and the duck on the water is, just beautifully gliding along. To anyone who's looking along, it looks like everything's all happening, but underneath the legs are going like this. Okay, so if you have 47 tabs open, or if you feel like that duck, this is for you. So this isn't a session about becoming better at coping and or anything like that. It's about becoming honest about what you're carrying. And sometimes the load isn't visible because it doesn't show up as a to-do list or anything like that. It is just the unseen things that women carry that is expected of us. Remembering people's birthdays, anticipating what everyone needs, just getting out of the door sometimes, especially with young children, can be like a whole production of getting everything organized just to get out the door. So it's thinking 3 steps ahead. It's holding the emotional space, managing the energy in the home. Often that's what we do without even really realizing it, or no one asked us to, we just do it. And making sure that nothing falls apart, because there will be times when things will fall apart and it might not feel easy, but that's what happens when we carry all of this invisible load. So before we go any further, we are just going to slow down. Just slow down now. We're just going to take a slow breath in. As you do so, let your shoulders drop down and then breathe it out. One more breath in. Relax the jaw. One more breath. And relax. Now, so often we are so much in our head that physically, from chin down, there could be a whole lot of things going on. We don't tune into them. We don't really have the opportunity to let our body physically arrive anywhere because we're so mentally up here. So just by doing that, three little slow breaths like that, making sure you're lowering the shoulders, loosening the neck, just breathing into it. That will help you a lot. Now, one of the things that I find, definitely for me, is if I find myself having a treat, I often treat myself to a massage or something like that. They'll be digging in, here, and they'll be saying your shoulders are so tight, and that is where we carry a lot of stress. And I really, really do try to consciously remove my shoulders from my ears, because often without knowing it we kind of like creep up like this, and it's just like letting your shoulders drop, letting our jaw relax so we're not clenching our teeth. Again, this is something that I tend to do sometimes, and in fact I even have a mouth guard. If I'm driving, I sometimes put the mouth guard in because I can feel that I'm grinding a lot. So we're just going to arrive. So let's talk about the mental load. And this mental load that we have, it's invisible. Often no one told us. We just do it because we have to. If we are single and not partnered, this probably becomes double what it is. Although I must admit, I over the years have just taken on the the role of the doer, the organizer, the rememberer, all of that kind of thing. And sometimes that has let me down because when you do take on too much, little details sometimes get lost, and the ball does get dropped sometimes. And I think to myself, I should have read the details more or paid more attention. But then at the end of the day, I have a partner who could also have read the details more, who could have also taken responsibility as well. So that's on me to call him out on that and direct him to delegate a job to him or something like that, so that it's not just me carrying the emotional load all the time. So some of the things that we do without even realizing it is keeping track of appointments. So for me, my children are now that are old enough, they can keep track of their own appointments. But one of my sons had significant eye problems, and we were going to a pediatric optometrist, a ophthalmologist, a specialist, all these people and it was like that was hard to keep track of appointments just for one medical condition. And I know there are many people out there whose children have multiple medical conditions that require appointments, and it's hard just to keep track of that. You have to either document it or make sure that you always keep your cards in the same place, put it in your diary, those kinds of things. It does make it really hard. There's also school or family logistics as well. So I'm a teacher myself, so I found it really hard to keep up with everything that was happening at my children's school, as well as trying to function in my workplace, which was a school as well. And there are so many things that the school put on which are fun. You want your kids to be included in the community of the school, but at the same time, you've also somehow got to fit that in to the logistics of working, whether your shift's going to be finished or whether you're going to be available, all of those kinds of things. Now, I already spoke about this a little bit, but being the emotional anchor. And for some reason, women are often the emotional anchor in the family. We are the ones who are able to tune in more often into our emotions and really help our children navigate their own emotions. And I was, I guess, always cautious that I wasn't saving my children in this as well. So that was an extra layer that I had on that emotional anchor that I wanted them to feel everything. I wanted them to cry. I wanted them to hurt. I didn't really jump in and save them. That wasn't what I wanted for my kids. I wanted them to be able to be as resilient as they could with their emotions. So there's also things like banking. We have to remember, like, the banking, when the bills need to be paid, if things need to be booked, thinking of and noticing, like, and I'm sure we've all been in this situation, when an appliance or something is getting a bit dodgy and you're kind of thinking, oh, I just cannot face this right now. So you keep using it until it might crash. And usually when it crashes, it's at the worst possible time. And that does mean that you're going to have to somehow carry the load of getting that replaced. And one of the things that, like, I'm call myself a recovering people pleaser. And one of the things that I have had a tendency to do is overthink the conversations that I have with people. Did I say the right thing? How did I make them feel? All of these kinds of things, which now I don't tend to do this as often, because now I am fully aligned with my human design. And if you want to know more about human design, when you get the replay, I'll mention something in there about that. I'm fully aligned with my human design as a manifesting generator, following my strategy and authority, and I have strong boundaries around my values. My values are my guiding light in how I am going to make decisions based on how I want to live my life. So I don't tend to overthink these conversations as much anymore because I have these boundaries. I know that the conversations I'm having with people are in alignment with actually who I want to be. And I'm still a work in progress because just like everyone, you're not going to get it perfect all the time. And then there's an amount of guilt that we carry around, especially around our children. And I know I carried a lot of guilt as a working mum, that I wasn't able to always go to the special things at school, and I wasn't able to always participate. And that was hard. And I think for me, especially if I worked in an office, I could have just taken half a day off and gone to the assembly or something like that. But as a teacher, I don't have the opportunity to just take half a day off and go to a special assembly or anything like that. So that was hard at the time. But I think that my kids didn't know any different. So they knew that I was also at school, so they know how it is. So, and I think probably one of the most important thing is about that we have the load that we carry is that we are constantly looking to make sure that everyone else is okay first, and there comes a certain parental responsibility in that, because absolutely we want to be making sure our children are okay, but then at the same time we need to also be making sure that our joy bucket is also filled, because when we are dry and drained, and I'm sure we can all think of times when we have been like this, we've got nothing to give. So really, yes, we do need to make sure everyone is okay, but we should be really making sure that we are okay first. Because when we are okay first, then it's easier for us to make sure everyone else is okay, because we have got more energy, we've got more abundance to give to people. All right, so these are just little things that, little permission slips to give you permission to know that it's okay to lighten the load. And to remind you, I see you. I see the invisible load that you are carrying, and it's absolutely a burden at times. But at the same time, I know as mothers, we probably wouldn't have it any other way. So often it's not the physical tasks that exhaust us. It's just all of this constant mental rehearsal and emotional responsibility that we carry every day. And, even to the point where there's times when I'm sure there's some of us, well, all of us at some stage would have had nights where we wouldn't have been able to get to sleep, or we woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't get something off of our mind, and it made it really hard for us to go to get back to sleep. So I want you to question, what are the tabs that are currently open in your mind? So I don't want this to be like your computer where you might have 47 tabs open at once. I really want these tabs to be culled down, and I want you to close down anything that doesn't belong to you anymore. And sometimes there could be tabs that are open, and still might be a bit relevant, but maybe it's not actually something that you need to do now, that it doesn't belong in your life anymore. So we can close that. It's like closing chapters. We can close that, and then we can, put our energy into something else. So this, I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but this has just popped into my mind. So one of the things that I teach my clients in human design is that when you are in a situation and you're trying to make a decision, you follow your strategy and your authority, and however that is. So, as a manifesting generator, I have my human design is having a defined solar plexus. So, I am an emotional. I have to feel all of the emotions around a decision. It takes me a while to make a decision. So, one of those things that that I do is when I'm feeling into it, and I also then check in with my values. But if I am deciding that I'm going to do it, it is because I know right now that yes, I do want to do it. If I do it, if I decide yes, I'm going to do this, and it's not really what I want to do, I'm forcing myself into something that doesn't feel alignment with me. I could be doing it because I'm still caught up in the people pleasing side of things. But then at the same time, I have my little friend, the universe up here, who is going to send me as many opportunities to say yes to as it possibly can. And while I'm saying yes to something that I don't really want to do, it's not giving me the opportunity to find a better option. So if I said no to this, whatever this is, I said no, something more amazing could open up for me. But if I say yes to this and I go along and I do whatever it is that that I don't really want to do, but I'm doing it, I I haven't got the space to notice if there's anything better because I've already committed to this other thing. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to just talk about some of the things that that can catch you, I guess. And this is like when the body, so like I said at the beginning, you know, if we really want to be thinking and processing body like chin down. We live so much in here, chin up. We want to really be thinking about chin down. Your body has got so many messages to tell you, and there's a lot of truth in your body, and we want to feel that before the mind catches up with us and says, well, hang on a minute, what are you doing? Because your body will actually have better messages than what your mind does. So the things we've already talked about, the tight shoulders. So it's really important to just every now and then we're going to be, you know, and then treat yourself to a massage. You should really be having massages regularly. Says me, who I haven't had one for probably since, oh no, the Christmas school holidays. So it's been a while for me. Jaw clenching, that's one of my big ones. And I do have a mouth guard in the car because I do notice when I'm driving that that's one of the worst times. So I do put a mouth guard in sometimes when I'm driving. Shallow breathing. We don't realise how important our breathing is until we start breathing. So as a breathwork facilitator, I'm currently doing my master's in breathwork facilitation as well. I probably was a shallow breather, and it's been about 5 years since I've been a qualified breathwork practitioner, and so what this has done for me is it has really helped me breathe through my nose, not my mouth. When you breathe through your mouth, it is more shallow, and the only time that I'm breathing through my mouth is if I'm like when I'm talking, if I'm having a big breath of air. But most of the time, breathing through my nose as much as I can because it does help. It helps with things. So we want to really make sure. And I want you to think right now, how many deep breaths have you really had today? Because often we can go a whole day without doing anything consciously about our breathing. A deep breath clears your mind. 3 deep breaths is like a great way when you're starting to feel like there's stress creeping in. And this is how we can get from, so if you've watched these series, all of these series is what you get from being in, this is how you become more responsive rather than reactive. So you come from a space of response rather than react. So the best analogy I know of, which we all relate to, is when a child might spill a drink, and that it's easy for us to just react because not so much because they've spilt the drink, it's just because, oh my God, now I've got to clean something up, so it's like that. And that poor child is left there crying, thinking, oh, what have I done? It was an accident. So if you can start to feel a reaction coming on, and then you'll be more responsive. Okay, so breath work is amazing. It has, for me, like the invisible load that I carry is a lot of stress from work. And this year I've been doing breath work nearly every morning, 20 minutes breath work every morning, and it's deep breathing. It's like as if you're breathing in a straw, and it's into your stomach, like that. And you do that for a couple of minutes, and you stop, hold your breath, exhale. It is a beautiful way to really clear stress. All right, so like I said before, waking up 3 o'clock in the morning. For some reason, I still have this happen to me. You wake up, you don't know why, and then you've got something on your mind, and you can't get it out of your mind. Can't get it out of your mind. And it's normally something, like for me, it's normally something that I have to do, I have to plan, something like that. And I don't know how to stop that because, like, I only, when I think it was one day last week, I had one day I just probably think I felt like I only got 4 hours sleep all night because um, when I woke up, I just could not get whatever it was, all this stuff out of my mind. You get very irritable. Okay, so this is another part of the invisible load, irritability, and it comes back to what I was talking about before. When you don't fill up your own cup, it's dry. And that saying is, you can't get blood from a stone. Well, you can't get anything from us either if our cup's empty. So we want to make sure that we're really filling that up, because it does make it easier to become nicer. You don't get so irritable, when you don't get so grouchy. Maybe you have headaches. This is something that I don't suffer from, which I'm grateful for. Very rarely do I have a headache, but I know that it can be, headaches can come from tension and holding on to so much stuff. Fatigue. Now, this is something I do have. I often will get I get tired. The old perimenopause and menopause hasn't really helped with my sleeping either, so that doesn't help. But aside from that, I think I will have days, and I'm grateful that I'm a manifesting generator for this, because a manifesting generator is like a little energizer bunny. Go, 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 go. So long as what we're doing is interesting to us and lighting us up, we can still keep going. But then I'll just be like, whoa, that's it. I've hit my quota. And the fatigue will come, and I need to sit down, have a rest. It can come on quite quickly. If you were a projector is an energy type that doesn't have ability to have their own motor inside them to keep going. They need other people's energies to keep them going. They would feel fatigue more, and they would need more frequent rests. So if you're feeling like you're constantly on, many of these things that I've spoken about could be part of the reason. And my invitation to you is that I want you to really start thinking about all of those tabs you've got open, all of those, whatever you want to call it, tabs and those things that are always on your mind. I really want you to start thinking about what doesn't belong to you anymore, because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you could either delegate or even just not worry about anymore. So much talking. So when we normalize carrying too much, the body starts holding it for us. And this is what I was talking about with the stress in my shoulders. And I've known, I've always had, and even I feel like since I've been doing breath work really consistently this year, it doesn't feel so tight. But I have, without even working out, you can't really see them, but I have like built up traps in my neck, and and it's not from working out or anything like that. It's from stress. And I have to actually, when I do, I'm going to probably have a massage during the school holidays, and I'll go to my normal lady and I'll see what she'll probably notice a difference, I reckon. So stress doesn't always shout. Okay, it sometimes whispers, and it might show up through exhaustion. It might show up anyway. Okay, so this is my personal story with stress. I have an extremely stressful job because of the school that I work in is a high needs trauma informed school. And what has happened to me is that I've known I've had this stress. I kind of just soldiered on. After working at the same school for 18 years, I quite proudly was able to say I had nearly 120 sick days. Now, I used to kind of use that as a, hey, yay, type of thing. But what happened to me was at the end of term 4 last year, I went to get a health check, and I hadn't been able to get into a doctor for like a while. My doctor was really hard to get into, and then the doctors around where I live were all full and they weren't taking new clients. So I just walked in one day to this doctor's surgery and they happened to be taking clients. So, okay, great. So I booked in for a health check. It was the week after school had finished, term 4, very busy week. And when I went to get the results were 60% kidney function is all I had. So I don't take, there's nothing that would point to me having like any reason why that would be, except for potentially I don't drink enough water, and being a teacher I don't get to go to the toilet as often as what I should, and stress. So I didn't even feel any different. So this is why when I say sometimes your body will be sending you these whispers and you need to tune into them. But I don't think I really felt anything different except I was exhausted. Absolute exhaustion. So this is where these lovely tools that I've been using, breathwork, meditation, have come into it. They're just part of my normal day that I normally would have now. So, I highly encourage you to get some kind of a practice. I might put some extra links in this email, and I'm going to write it down just to remind me. I'm going to put in a link to my YouTube channel, which does have beautiful meditations. And then another link to a meditation that I've been listening to, which is really about rewiring your brain to, like when you visualize things and you start to believe it. So that I'll put them in the YouTube, in the email as well. You're perfect. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to rip that off, otherwise I'll forget what it was. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to ask you some questions now. If you need to pause to do this, pause. I don't have anyone on the call here with me. Most of the people that registered, they had told me that they needed to catch the replay. So I'm going to read these questions, and I want you to pause, grab some paper and some pen, and I really want you to think about these questions in terms of how what your life is now, I guess. So the first one is, does this actually need to be done? So whatever it is, with anything, you ask yourself, does this actually need to be done? And then, does it need to be done by me? So one of the things that really lightened my load, and I've mentioned it before in other masterclasses that we've had, is when my boys were about 13 or 14, I got them to cook dinner one night a week. Now, what that did for me was it gave me a few hours back in my week where I could spend that one night a week doing something, like catching up on something that I didn't, that would have had to have got done on the weekend, or something like that. So the way I did it was they cooked the same thing every night, so it will say like a Wednesday night was when one of them cooked. They cooked the same thing every Wednesday night for a term. So by the end of that 10 weeks, they knew that recipe really well. I'd specifically planned it so that it was like an easy recipe, cheap as well, so that if they did, so when they move out, they've got, a bit of kitchen skills and easy recipes to cook that aren't going to cost a lot of money. It did mean by the end of 10 weeks, we were sick of eating whatever it was they were eating, but that the outcome for me was way better than anything else. And I've got a visitor in here now. The dog's just opened the door. Hopefully they don't come in and argue. So we'll just leave them there. So, so does this need to be done? Does it need to be done by me? Does it need to be done right now? So I want you to think about those 3 questions. And then also, what would happen if this didn't get done today? So these are just 4 little questions that you might want to stop now and think about some things that you're thinking about and journal about them now, or come back to them later. And some of these things that you have got, these tabs that you have, they are habits, they're conditioning, or they come from that place of the people pleaser, and you don't want to let people down, so you keep doing it. And at the end of the day, it's just wearing us all out. So sometimes we're not carrying responsibility, we're carrying the expectation. So have you taken ownership of things that could be shared, delegated, or simply let go? That's what I'm asking you. Because I know that I have in the past, and I still do. Sometimes it is easier if I just do it, because at least then I know it's done. One of the biggest lessons that I've had was having a cleaner. Now, not saying they're not fantastic or anything like that, but it's such a relief to not have to do it. But at the same time, sometimes I'll notice something and I'll think, oh, okay, I wouldn't have done it like that. Or sometimes there's times when things are different and that, but then I have to remind myself, okay, it's not, maybe it wasn't how I would have liked it to have been done, but it was done. And at the same time, I didn't have to do it. So when you have a cleaner, I feel like you have to let go of a lot. Obviously, it's a lot of trust, because letting someone in your home and all that kind of thing, but it is such for me, it was a big learning curve. Okay, so we've, I think, I'm just trying to think now. No, I'm just trying to think if I've done. I don't think I've done it in this one. So, one of the things that tends to happen is that sometimes we get so overwhelmed with everything that we need to find something. No, when I say need, um, our like we don't need to find something, but we do. We find something to numb us, to smooth it down, to cleanse our emotions. And the women I speak to, and what I was just thinking of before is in Your Best Year Yet, we have one of the months is about emotional, like environmental clutter, and we really deep dive into in intentional scrolling and unintentional scrolling and getting off your device. So that's what I was thinking of before. So that one isn't a free one. That's on Your Best Year Yet. But it's it's so easy to get stuck in these scroll holes. I'm guilty of it too. I'll get on my phone and I'll just be looking at something, and then something else will happen, and before you know it, I'm like, where have I been? Like you just lose track of time. So all of this soothing is like numbing us down to try and make it feel easier for us. So it's one of the things that's really important is that we are adults. We've got our responsibilities, and if you are in a partnered relationship, the other person, like, work out with them. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Okay, so we don't want to be the one that's always organising everything. And it would be lovely if you could have a conversation with the other partner to help share that load. Because when we are stuck in this over-functioning regime, that is when it does get really hard. Okay, so I've already spoken into a lot of things that can help. This has got really out of order, I have to say. So these are things you can do. Journaling. Now, if you have not been with me from the start of this, the first session that we did was about journaling, and I'll send out the replay of this one. If you would like to have access to the other replays, let me know and I can send them to you. The first one was about journaling and getting clarity in your journaling. Breath work. So breath work is absolutely my savior in keeping my stress down to a manageable level. Breath work can just be as simple as breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding. So like a square. Four, count to four. 4, 4, 4, 4. It can just be like that. It can be, you block down one nose, you breathe like this. Block it down, breathe out. That's breath work as well. And that's really great for getting the neurons connected in your brain because it takes in both sides of your brain, your mind. That's what breath work can be. Breath work, if you went to a whole breath work session, your body feels like alive after that. Meditation. I already mentioned it. I'll put a YouTube link to my YouTube channel in the email. I'll also put in a link to a beautiful meditation that I listen to every day where you can start creating a vision of what you want to manifest for your future. Boundary setting. We haven't done one. Have we done? We haven't done one yet on boundary setting, but there is one. There will be one on boundary setting. So boundary setting really is it's a practice. It's a practice, and like I mentioned this earlier in this session, when you are living, like when you know your top 5 values, and you are living in alignment with your values, it makes it a lot easier to set a boundary. So, for example, for me, my top amongst my top values are contribution and connection. Now, a couple of years ago, I was the secretary of a go-kart club, and some of you may know the longer version of this story. And there was an incident where my family was targeted on social media from members of within the committee. So I had to then make a decision what I was going to do. Now, my connection value was absolutely being met because I was at the club when we had a meeting, a go-kart meeting. I'd be there like from 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight and organising everything, meeting all the drivers, all of that kind of stuff. It was amazing. I loved it. But then my contribution value, but then my connection value, when that happened and it came from within the committee members, I knew that I had to set a boundary here because I could not live in alignment with my values knowing that I was still going to go back to a club where they didn't value me. So I set a boundary and I resigned. And I didn't regret that decision one iota at all because I couldn't do it because it wasn't in alignment with my values. So this is what it means for me. The boundary setting is so much easier when you know what your top 5 values are. Okay, so I will also put in there my values ebook. Okay, so I'll put that in the email as well. All right, asking for help. This is just like, oh my gosh, one of the hardest things to do, asking for help. I am absolutely terrible at asking for help, even still. I have got better. But it is still not easy asking for help, but I have got better at it. It's a practice for sure. And then also delegating. it's a practice. So asking for help and delegating, I feel like are probably like two of the hardest things that for me, because and it goes back to the cleaner. I delegated it to the cleaner, and I'm trusting that the cleaner is going to do a great job of it because I don't have to do it. All right. So I just want to remind you, I have this. I'll actually get this and I'll show you. I have this little reminder, which I have here. And this is, okay, I know it's going to be backwards, but 1% of your day is 14.4 minutes. So round it up to 15. Okay, so it says there, if you want to change something in your life, set a timer for 15 minutes and start each day and start doing it. So 1% of your day. I know so many people, they say, oh, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time for breath work. I don't have time to journal, whatever. But for me, in the mornings, I'm doing, I probably do about 3% of my day is breath work, meditation, journaling, and we've got a pool. I also do a 2-minute cold plunge in the pool in the morning as well. So that all of that takes about 45 minutes. So yes, 3% of my day. It does mean I have to get up earlier, but my stress levels are amazing. When you journal, you come up with great ideas about how you can manage things as well. So it's not necessarily like it might seem like a lot, but even if you just do it for 30 minutes, that's like half an hour is 2% of your day. That's nothing. And I was getting home from work, and it takes me a while to like like emotionally calm down from work. I normally have music on in the car that I listen to on my way home and sing, but I don't like I'm probably lucky if I only listen to 3 songs before I get home. So it doesn't kind of give me a lot of time. So instead, I could easily, and I was last year, coming in, sitting down on the couch, doing playing a game or something like that on my phone. Alternatively, because that's just really numbing, alternatively, I could lift my vibration, change my shoes, and go for a walk and spend, another 2% of my day in a half an hour walk. So these are the kind of things that can really help you get a lot of clarity on how you're spending your time. And when you are doing this, you get so many ideas come into your mind about how you can do things differently. And I feel like it's helped me ask for help with people as well. Okay. So 2% of your day isn't much. 2% of your day is giving you time to come back to yourself, to breathe, and to process everything that's in your body and to get out of your mind just for a little while. Because really need to start to try and get down here. Okay, because this is so busy, and when your mind is busy, you don't really start paying attention to what's happening down here. All right, so that's just about it for me, I think. So I really am encouraging you to do a 10-minute journal, 10-minute meditation, 10 minutes of breath work, or 10 minutes of walking, or something like that. Even just putting on or favorite track, or your favorite band or album, whatever, and just moving around a bit to a couple of songs. That's going to be amazing for you. All right, so this is what I'm going to be asking you for, like, going forward. Okay, there's going to be lots of takeaways from this, I'm sure. So what's the one thing you can stop carrying this week? So I really want you to think about what's one thing you can stop carrying this week. And it could be looping conversations in your mind. Did I say it right? What if I said this? Those kinds of things. Some kind of responsibility that you can pass on to someone else, like delegate it, like I did with the kids with eating with our food, with dinner. Guilt over something. So it took me a long time to get over the guilt of that I was a teacher and I wasn't able to be there as much as I wanted to for the kids' school. The trade-off for that was that I was able to be there during the school holidays for them. So, after a few years, I guess I kind of like found the status quo with that. Maybe you are carrying perfectionism and you really have to do it perfect. And maybe you can start to introduce a mantra and, like something like done is better than good, or progress over perfection, something like that. Um, and I think when we become a people pleaser, um, we're trying to do so much for everyone else. But one of the things that really I found is that I was doing things to cater to the other person's emotional outcome that I knew was going to happen. So, it took me a while to realize that. So these are some things that maybe you're holding on to. Okay. So what can be delegated? What can be delayed? What can be deleted? Okay. We really want to do this. Now, you can think of this as a 3D framework. So delegate, delay, delete. All right, so it's all D's, there's threes in there. So, and, I still go through this. My children are older now. They're old enough to they do their own washing and things like that. But I still do think, okay, who can do this so that I don't have to do it, so that it's not the mental load that I have to carry. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close this now. And I'm just going to remind you that you don't need to earn rest. We are, we're entitled to rest. We don't need to earn it. And that you don't need to prove your worth through exhaustion. Because stress, exhaustion, carrying all this mental load isn't going to keep you healthy. This is how a lot of autoimmune diseases start, through all of this mental stress, proving something when we don't need to. And I want to remind you that it is okay for you to carry less. You don't have to carry it all. So remember that space is not selfish. And when you allow yourself space, it allows you to move forward. So that's it for the session. I hope you got a lot from that. Check in the email for all of those links. I've written it down on a piece of paper to remind you what we had. And this is the vibe of these. These are very informal. They are on the fly sometimes. I'll have have a bit of an agenda sometimes, but I tend to talk about things in as it comes up. So, yeah. And if you would like to know any more about human design, just hit replay in there, because I would absolutely love to help you work with your human design and your values when they're combined. It is so powerful. Um, it really is the best thing that I have aligned my life with in the last few years. It's amazing. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye bye.